Hey everyone. When I was in college, I took a film studies course where I learned about realism in the context of film theory. If you haven't already, you can watch my video on that topic by clicking the link. Examples of realist films are rare, but ever since that class, one has stood out to me as an exemplar of the style. It's criminally underrated and unknown, and it totally deserves your attention. So here it is. Generation Kill. Generation Kill hits the ground running with a fast-paced action scene and a very formalistic style. That is, the style opposite of realism. The cuts are quick and the cameras are moving constantly. The shots are super close up, almost abstract. We get helicopter shots, high and low angles, lots of gunfire and explosions. It is a blitz of a scene, but it ends with a reversal. The combat you just saw was actually training. The wounded driver is unharmed. And the fast-paced show that you just watched is about to be dialed back, as if to say, here's the war show you thought you were getting, but now, here's our version.
How's it feel, motherfucker? How's it feel to be fucking dead?
Bro, it feels sad. I feel very alone. And also, I gotta take a shit.
I was walking down the street when out the corner of my eye saw a pretty little thing approaching me. She said, I never seen a man who looks so all alone. The country use a little company. But if you pay the right price, your evening will be nice and you can go and send me on my way. I said, you're such a sweet young thing, why you do this to yourself? She looked at me and this is what she said. Oh, there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed.
In my last video, I discussed why a director might choose a realist style as opposed to a formalist style. When dealing with morally complex or ambiguous situations, a director has a lot of tools at their disposal that they can use to influence what side the audience comes down on, even if they don't mean to. It's the nature of filmmaking for a director's vision, or at least the production company's vision, to come through in the final product. So it's rare for a film to consciously step back from that and deliberately present on-screen events to you in an even-handed way. The result is something that often draws comparisons to documentary or news styles, because those genres of film have more to do with recording real events as they happen than carefully staging and rehearsing scenes to tell a narrative. With the notable exception of its opening scene, Generation Kill is exclusively filmed in this documentary style, and its narrative is loose and unconstructed in a way that reflects reality instead of fiction. I'll note the show is based on a book written by a reporter embedded with the Marines, and it is slavishly true to the book. For the rest of this video, I want to explore how Generation Kill approaches the realist style, why the creators chose it, and what impact this has on us, the audience. In this scene, the Marines have just begun their mission to liberate Iraq. They come across a column of civilians whom they are obligated to protect and take care of under the Geneva Convention, while they are fleeing death squads. When their division headquarters commands them to proceed with their mission, they are essentially being commanded to disobey the Geneva Convention and abandon these Iraqis who need their help.
Send them all back the way they came.
Roger that, sir.
This scene could be preachy, but it's not. The battalion commander who passes the order seems to be uncaring of the implications. But rather than turn this scene into a referendum on him, the actors convey their dissatisfaction at the situation more subtly. The battalion commander doesn't seem to notice the platoon commander's reaction, but the company commander does.
We have orders, Nate.
Once he leaves, the junior Marines gripe to the platoon commander.
Are they fucking serious? Send them back where? What, the fucking death squads? Sir, under Articles 13 and 20 of the Geneva Convention, we're obligated to take care of and protect any fuckers who surrender to us.
But watch his performance. He is clearly not happy with the order, and also clearly going to enforce it anyway.
The nation has ordered us to unsurrender these Iraqis.
This is nuanced acting, achieving nuanced storytelling. The characters exist in a serious quandary, and the actors sell it. And while it might seem at first glance that the show is coming down hard on the side that abandoning the Iraqis is bad,
Iraqis' first contact with Americans. We fuck them.
it should be noted that every character here ends up doing it anyway, even though none of them want to. Because this is realism, and realism is about real life. and hard choices with no easy answers. And to add another layer of complexity, Lieutenant Fick tells Evan Wright to
Write this as you see it. I'm not here to stop you.
In a way, that's what realism is all about, and it's the approach this show takes to its subject matter. Talented actors can help convincingly portray complex moral situations on screen, but they need good material to work with. In this scene, I want to briefly examine how the script can lend itself to telling nuanced stories. As the Marines huddle up to discuss their next move, the platoon commander mentions the population size of the city.
What's the population here?
I've heard 400,000.
Scratch a few off that number.
Gunny and I are going
See how restrained this screenwriting is? Aspera makes one comment and then drops it. No one really reacts to his comment. Do they approve? Do they agree? Do they find it funny? Do they consider it insensitive? In realist filmmaking, it's up to you, the audience, to judge his comment and the situation he's commenting on. The script leaves a hole where commentary could have been in order for you to make your own. The writers say more by saying less. Editing is choosing which shots go in what order and how long they're on screen. In a formalist work, the directors might want to make sure you get a laugh out of a situation, or sympathize with a sad character, or feel disgust at a grotesque sight. This will dictate which shots they place where, and for how long. If your aim is to simply present an unbiased retelling to an audience, where they're left to decide what they think on their own, well, that requires a lighter touch, which you can see in this scene.
Make the gun less accurate.
Still railing on the white man?
I don't hate the white man no more. Leave that to these motherfuckers. Me? I'm just standing here in Iraq, eating my pound cake, playing on the white man's team.
Not the surrender in Iraq as we've seen. These guys came to fight.
Dog, motherfucker died trying to get a round off. Combat discipline.
What's really going on here is a tonal mishmash, which can only exist in the real world, where truth is stranger than fiction. There are dead enemies on the road, a Marine joking and eating food, and another Marine grimly noting their determination. Consider this. If the camera lingered on the bodies with the Marines in voiceover, it would give a certain weight to the scene. If the editor kept the camera on the Marines the whole time, the conversation would have kind of a dark humor vibe. Instead, we get shots of both. The edits allow the audience to take in the whole situation. You see the bleak reality of war. You see how the men cope and respond to it. But the camera doesn't linger long enough on one subject or the other to dominate the scene. If you, the audience, think this is really gross, you can defend that. If instead you think this is kind of funny, you can defend that too. This final scene takes place moments later, and I want to use it to illustrate how cinematography is employed under realism. Cinematography is linked to editing. If editing is selecting what you show the audience, cinematography is how you show it. As you'll see here, the cinematography is restrained. Check out this enemy vehicle.
Look at that truck.
BM-21. A legit target.
It's kind of boring, isn't it? It looks lifeless and dull sitting there. It's not a triumphant or slick image of a destroyed enemy. It just is. Then we get this ghastly sight. But notice how the camera records the moment from inside the confines of the Humvee. We only get the same distant, passing look at the corpses that the men get, or that we would get if we were there with them. This is how a film crew approaches cinematography under realism. We're in the moment geographically with them, and it changes how we see the world. We see enough to know what it is, but the camera hurries along. The audience is not being browbeaten by how awful it is. We don't get a static shot or a close-up to drive the horror home. They're told to observe everything but admire nothing, and such is the camera.
2-1 Bravo, 2 men in that car to our 3. Do you see weapons?
2-1 Alpha, this is 2-1 Bravo. No weapons. These guys are down for the count.
And then Evan, the reporter, sees the girl.
She's dead. Nothing we can do.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! There's a sicko in our Humvee now! The psycho-ass jarheads? The fucking liberal media just looking for a little exploitation.
Again, the glimpses we get are fleeting, seen from the perspective of the characters, not exploitative or manipulative. The camera doesn't bask in the gore. And then, Ray cracks a joke. If the show wanted to drive home just how tragic it is, and isn't it so awful, and don't you just feel terrible, would they throw a laugh line in there? Generation Kill is operating on a plane above your average agenda-driven entertainment. It's saying, reality is uncomfortable. Come sit in it with us. The point I'm trying to make here is that not all filmmaking has to take sides. Some things are so complex and murky that they deserve to be treated with impartiality. Unless you employ very restrained filmmaking, you will bias how the audience feels about the subject matter. I think this is especially relevant to Generation Kill, because the characters are recon Marines and a reporter, two types of people who make a living by observing and reporting the real world as they see it, while trying to remain objective. And, as Lieutenant Fick tells them,
All Hitman 2 victors. Observe everything, admire nothing.
Sounds like a tagline for realist films.
Man, I am so high from not sleeping. So check this out. Maybe they didn't issue the wrong color fatigues for the invasion. Maybe our blouses actually aren't green. Maybe they are desert beige. You know, like sometimes colors actually start to look different when you're so sleep deprived. Like the sun, it looks red when it actually is yellow. You know, maybe our blouses aren't green. We're just so fucking sleep deprived that that's the way that they look to us.
Are you making this up?
Fuck yeah, I'm making this up. Passes the time, brother.